Hi there, welcome to Let's Talk Tottenham. We are back in the top four race, but probably even more than tricky trip to Anfield, where we don't generally win. Not a very happy hunting ground for us there. But, 2-2 earlier in the season. Liverpool going for the quadruple. Will their focus kind of slip if we get on top? All these questions and much more to ask. Joined by two great guests. Tommy's joining later as well. Brian, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Like I said, I'm just delighted that we've won a trophy this morning. Groundsman of the year. Woohoo! Things are looking up at Tottenham Hotspur. I'm delighted. Gonna party like it's 1999. Apart from that, I'm all good.
And Jamie from Jamie Phillips Football Chat. I was on his show yesterday, so make sure you check that out, and his show as well, Tottenham on Tour, obviously for Brian. They're all linked in the description. All the channels on today. And they'll tell you how you can find them at the end of the show. But Jamie, thanks so much for coming on. And you must be buzzing at this moment in time, or are you nervous because things could unravel?
Yeah, a bit of both. My man. Nervous about Saturday, and nervous about the Champions League final. But can't wait to beat Chelsea in a week's time, because I think that's going to be easy. But so a bit of mixture at the moment, but. Yeah, it's hard to get to sleep at night at the moment because you're just so happy, you know what I
mean? No, I don't, Jamie. I don't. I have no idea. But everyone watching, thanks so much for watching. Please hit the like. Please hit the subscribe. Get your comments in. It really helps the channel. And thanks so much for watching. Let's start with Liverpool Champions League final again, and this quadruple, this unprecedented quadruple, is on. I don't want you to get the quadruple, not because I dislike Liverpool. It's just because the stupidity in me says at some point, maybe when I'm getting my bus pass, we could do the quadruple. So I want to be the first one. But, I mean, it's definitely on. You're in 3 cup finals, and the league, I think, will go to the end of the season. So almost like a cup final or 6 cup finals left. Yeah. Do you think? But 3 Champions League finals in 5 years, we don't have to talk about the 2019 one, is unbelievable, really, and just shows what happens when you have chairmen who give the manager the players that they want. I'm sure Brian will have thoughts on that with our chairman. But do you think you'll get this quadruple, or are you kind of, I don't want to say anything and ruin it, and what would class as a failure for you? You've obviously won the League Cup. Obviously, if you didn't win anything else, that would be a failure. But would 2 trophies be a failure? 3 be a failure? So, what's your views on all of that?
On the failure part, oh, man. So, the way we are at the moment, even Bob,
he says, and to someone else too as well. So, it's not an insult on you. It's just you've got the rite of passage today.
No, when I look at it, the failure for Liverpool at this moment in time, for me, we're probably the most informed team in world football at the moment. So, when I look at it, if we only win the League Cup this season, for the way we are at this moment, the manager we got, it would be a failure. If we won the FA Cup and the League Cup, a domestic double, I don't know if you can call that a failure because you're winning a domestic double in your country. So that won't be a success at the same time. It's sort of in between. But if we pick up a treble, if we pick up one of the Premier League or the Champions League, yes, it's a successful season. The quadruple for me, if it happens, we're arguably the greatest English side of all time. I mean, winning a quadruple. I mean, it'd be hard to say it's not true, but
you said yesterday that it would be amazing because Man United fans can't say anything about a treble anymore.
Man United try and find some way of downgrading it. There's no doubt about it. But for me, I said yesterday as well. I said that City, we got 2 trophies that are in our hands: the Champions League, the FA Cup. The league's not in our hands because City are 1 point clear. So this weekend, I think this is going to be a funny weekend. Something weird's going to happen this weekend, in my opinion, either in the Liverpool game or the Newcastle City game. I just feel it in my waters at the moment. I feel something weird's going to happen this weekend, and if we do get the victory and City slip up, then I do think this team, with the momentum they're on at the moment and the belief in their side, in this side with Jurgen Klopp in charge, overseeing it, because he doesn't get carried away either. He's always one game at a time. Jordan Henderson, when he's interviewed, he's always one game at a time. They try and keep their feet on the floor as much as possible, which must be extremely difficult to do. If that happens, I think we do it, but you still got to make City favourites because they're a point clear in the league. It's in their hands. So if we win the treble, domestic and the Champions League, it's a world class season at the end of the day, isn't it? So
yeah, and I've got a question from Bob for you here. As hard as it might be, if you had to choose a weak point in this Liverpool team, what would it be? Promise I won't tell Conte.
Oh, a weak point.
I mean, it's very difficult to decide on one just because you've got top players in all 11 positions.
Now, opposition fans will say our high line. Now, our high line, we have had 31 clean sheets this season in all competitions. So I don't, and I think Alisson's had 20 clean sheets in the Premier League.
That's ridiculous.
So I don't know if the high line is actually, I've heard people say it's our. It can't be when you've had 31 clean sheets in all competitions. And we scored. I think we scored 135 goals. So it works. It works, but it does give other teams an opportunity. Like you will have an opportunity. You'll have loads of opportunities on Sunday because of the way we play. But that's at risk. We play such high risk football, but it pays off. I think where our weakness is sometimes is when we think we got the game done. We saw that against Villarreal in the first half. We were 2-0 in the first leg. And I think we thought we had the game done and it was too easy. And that's when we can switch off. Almost did it against Everton. I think that's Liverpool's only real weakness at the moment. They can switch off when they think things are too easy. And then usually when it happens, going at half time, Klopp gives them a German rocket up the arse and they come out and highly improved. But I would say that's our weakness. I would say that's our major weakness. And it's hard to find many at this moment in time. But yeah, I mean, everyone keeps talking about the high line, but when you've kept 31 clean sheets, 135 goals, it's a bit hard to say that's a weakness.
I think it's just because you keep all that clean sheets, but when the high line does give someone a chance, it's highlighted more because wow, Liverpool 31 clean sheets, they're giving up chances. But Brian, for Spurs, we're back in the top 4 race, and very similar to Liverpool in the fact that City are slightly ahead, Arsenal are slightly ahead, but it is in our hands because of that North London derby. But this is a huge game in this, right? I mean, most Spurs fans have written this off as a loss, as long as we don't get battered and goal difference gets affected. Arsenal have those tricky games, I think, anyway, in the last 2 games of the season. Newcastle's last home game, and Everton, who could be fighting, needing to win that to stay up.
Yep.
How big a game is this for Spurs, or is this a don't worry about this one. Whatever, if we get something, absolute bonus. If we lose, everyone's expecting that, and then we just go again for the North London derby. I mean, if we do lose this and Arsenal win, 5 points clear Arsenal. So lose the North London derby, don't win the North London derby, top 4's over, I think.
Okay, so there's quite a lot to digest there. First of all,
I waffle. I do apologise.
No,
I start off with one question and then you get about 17 fired.
That's all good. I just want to start with what Jamie was talking about. I have to say it sickens me that he's going, it's a domestic double way failure. Jesus Christ. Just hearing it, it's like, if we're in the FA Cup and League Cup, a bad seat. Jesus Christ. Listen, Jamie, I told you about that. I think Liverpool, and I said it weeks ago, are going to get the quadruple. I really, really do. I just think, especially the way Man City capitulated against Madrid, I think there's a huge knock-on effect there.
I mean, that was beautiful to see, wasn't it? I mean,
it's lovely.
I want you to win the league. I can't stand City. The fact that Pep, the greatest manager of all time, £1 billion, still can't beat little old Tottenham in a Champions League, can't win the Champions League, and I think any manager worth their salt could do a job at Man City with the finances that they have.
And now you're going to spend 300 million in the summer, aren't you?
All right, mate. Yeah, but my nickname is Pinocchio, and I've got the nose for it. Trust me, if I go 5 ways. But yeah, again, we're like Jamie also said about there's something in the water about Newcastle, City, and us versus Liverpool. What's up, Tommy, brother? I also feel, and I've been saying this as well, Arsenal Leeds is not an easy game. If you go back in the days, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank stopped them twice from winning the league. And then ages ago, or a little bit more recent, Mark Viduka stopped them winning the league at Highbury when they were about to get relegated. So this game has a little bit of history in it. Not just ours that has got our wretched record at Anfield. Arsenal Leeds is no easy game. So I think something's going to happen this weekend, just like Jamie said with Liverpool and City. And the worst thing you said as well is if we lose tomorrow and then the filth win and then they win the North London derby, if that stadium, St Tottenham's Day happens and they get top 4 ahead of us at our ground, if that whole stadium does not turn on the parasite and make their, I don't know what else there needs to be to make this man public enemy number 1 like I have him, because that mate, let's just say I'll be happy that I live in Canada that day if it happens, but it's not, because we're going to beat the filth. We're going to beat the filth. But should that happen, like you said at the end, that stadium, are you going to that game, Tommy?
Yeah, you'll still be there in Seoul. Even if you're not there physically, you'll still be there in Seoul.
If that happens and the cameras go over to you and you're going, leave me spend, I will get on my plane earlier just to come and find you. But yeah,
that won't be the case.
Yeah, let's just listen. It's not going to happen. We're going to beat the filth, but the main thing is tomorrow. And like I've been saying, do you know what? If you gave me a draw right now, I would snap your hand off.
Yeah, I think so as well. What do you think of the game, Tommy? Is this a kind of, we're expected to lose this game, so if we lose, fine. If we get anything, bonus. Just hope Arsenal don't beat Leeds, or do you think it's must win for us? Even though we never usually win at Anfield, so must win at Anfield is very tricky indeed.
It is, but it's looking that way. First of all, I just want to say thanks for having me. Good, nice to meet you for the first time, Jamie.
And you.
And so yeah, it is. Do you know? The more I look at it, it is it is a must win because of the Leeds game. I know Brian's been optimistic. Back in the day with Hasselbank and Viduka, but that was a very, very good Leeds team. Let's face it. That was Rio Ferdinand, Kulu, Woodgate, Paul Robinson. This isn't that Leeds team. It's not that. It's nowhere near that. But I see what you're saying. There is a rivalry there. I see what Brian's saying. There's a rivalry there, and hopefully they can do us a favour, because even if we beat Liverpool, we still need a favour, and it's going to be tricky, and that's an understatement.
Well, we don't need a favour if we beat Liverpool, do we? Our favour will be ourselves beating Arsenal in the London derby, because it's still in our hands at this moment in time. They're 2 points ahead, but because of that London derby, if we win all our games, they win all of their games, bar in the London derby, we're a point clear.
But then it's 2 coulds, isn't it? It's 2 coulds, and we couldn't get a shot on target against Brighton and Brentford. So you're talking about we've got to beat Liverpool, then Thursday night we've got to beat Arsenal, which, in a way, looking at things, is probably unlikely. But the victory over Leicester puts us in a sort of winning mentality. Whereas had we drawn that or lost that, it would have been in big, big trouble. So no, there's that to look forward to. But I was listening to Jamie a little bit, and 135 goals. I heard you say 135 goals, 31 clean sheets. Jesus Christ! And we're at Anfield. We're not at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We're at Anfield. So, 130. Yeah, it should be fun.
133 was our record. 133 was our record. We've beaten that, and we still got games to spare. So
you're going to smash that. You'll get 150 at the very minimum. Scott Hem said, if Liverpool win the quadruple, please just end football now. Hoping they all they get is 1 cup they already have, but tough to think that Real Madrid have a chance with how much they've been relying on luck. But Real Madrid will be, if they go 1-0 down, even in the last minute, they still think they've got a chance.
Yeah,
but
totally.
I mean, let's talk about these guys, 6 of them: Salah, Mane, Diaz, Kane, Son, Kulu. We haven't even mentioned Jota. But there's a comment from Bob, Jamie, which we spoke about on your channel yesterday, or you mentioned it. I know he's having a purple patch, but I've said on numerous streams, Salah still misses too many chances. What do you guys reckon? I mean, very much tempting fate there, Bob. I mean, he gets so many chances that he's generally going to score 1 or 2
He does.
I mean, you said yesterday if he took all of his chances, it'd be easily a 50-goal a season, man.
Yeah, easy. I mean, he misses a lot of chances. Salah, he frustrates us Liverpool fans all the time. But it's so hard to argue with him because he gets 30 goals a season. So it's still, but he's becoming a playmaker as well now. I mean, I think he's got 15 assists this season. So his link-up play is getting better now as well. He's coming all round forward now, the complete forward. But he does frustrate Liverpool. He frustrates me. I watch him every bloody week. I'm like, have you not scored that? Like, he has scored the hardest goal, but missed the easiest. It's just the way it is, and we've got used to it now, and we can't really argue.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of those 6 players, Brian.
Yep.
I mean, we've got our front 3 now. I mean, they are superb, but obviously Liverpool's front 3 of scrapping Diaz, but their front 3 is a number. Been doing it for years and years. So if we can get that consistency, then we can be in the conversation there as good. But is this a game of 2 front 3s, do you think?
Well, it kind of is. But then they have Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, and we have Emerson. And if Diaz is running at Everton, I am shit scared. I am petrified. But I'm not only petrified of that, I'm petrified of Romero having to do too much work like he always does and missing a tackle with the pace. And we cannot risk 2 yellow cards or a red with him, because he has to be at the North London derby, which is another game he's going to have to try and keep his cool. But I'm very worried. I mean, the worst thing for us is Liverpool know our front 3. We don't know the front 3 Liverpool can play. They've got so many, like you said, even put Jota in there. Jota could come in, Diaz could come in. There's so many. So how do you prepare for what you're going to do? Because you get the team sheets an hour before, like we do. So it's very, very hard. Listen, we should know that Kulu will be starting. There's some people saying he may even start at right wing back. I mean, who knows? But let's just say I reckon if he does play, which he will, he'll be up front. But Liverpool know, right, these are the front 3. This is what we got to do. And for us, it's like, right, what 3 are playing? I mean, you'd guess Salah will be playing for sure.
Salah, Mane are going to be definitely in. I would have thought Diaz would be in.
Diaz.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Salah, Jota, and Diaz.
I don't want to see Jota.
You don't want to see Jota?
No, I don't want to see Jota. I've got this love-hate with Jota. I've got a love-hate.
Really?
Yeah. I love him, but I hate him at the same time. He's
why?
Been up my wife. But yeah, he's
I hope she's watching.
No, Jota is he's got 20 goals in all competitions this season, which is obviously a fantastic record. But his hold-up play is awful. Jota's hold-up play is awful. What Liverpool are all about is that high press, high pressure, playing in everyone's own half, playing in the opposition's half of the pitch. And what happens is when Jota gives it away, it rebounds off him a heck of a lot. And what happens is then we lose possession in that area, and teams always go over the top of our midfield and go straight onto our high line and straight into them areas, which I think Spurs will try and do on Saturday night. And for me, you've got to have Mane in that number 9 role. Mane holds the ball up beautifully. His timings of the runs are immaculate. And Diaz on that left-hand side, he's only been here, obviously, since January, like Kubalewski for you guys. And he's made that left side his own already. And I like Mane through the number 9 now. I think Mane is number 9 going forward now. I think he looks good there. I think he played a little bit there for Southampton before we bought him as well. So he's used to that role. And Diaz has got the left-hand side nailed down at this moment in time. But Jota, for me, he's an impact sub at this moment in time till the end of the season. And then next season, we can look what we do next season. But for the rest of this season, at this moment in time, I'd use Jota as an impact substitution. And then we got, Bobby Firmino on the bench as well, Divock Origi as well. And so we've got the firepower, I'd say. So
it's weird you say that. I just want to talk about Jota. It's weird you say his hold-up play, but he's a striker, isn't he? He basically is your number 9. So you need his hold-up play to be there. You need his hold-up play to be on point. And if you're saying it is, it makes sense not to have him.
Yeah, he's not great with his back to goal. He's always better. I always like him better when he's on the left, running at defenders in that space, getting in them corridors.
That's what you signed him as, wasn't it? That's what he done at Wolves. Exactly. That's what you signed him as. Yeah.
And we just converted him into that number 9 role. But it's because he is different to everyone else of our front 3. So Jota he will get goals that Salah won't, Mane won't, Diaz won't, because he gets them. he's in the right areas in the box.
He's very good with his head as well, isn't he?
Great,
Headers,
yeah, I think he's got the most
to
headed
stay in
goals.
the air.
Got the most headed goals this season. He's like 5'7". It's madness.
Mad.
Yeah, Barnabas here. We'll come to predictions a bit later. Big game tomorrow. Let's go 2-2. Wayne Bonner, how you doing, Wayne? Our whole team needs to be focused on the job. Our front three need to be alert and free-flowing. Kulu will be vital in my eyes on the attack. Our midfield needs to stand strong. I think, Tommy, Kulu will be very similar. And we've got another comment here. Barnabas saying Romero will bully Mane. We'll get back onto Romero a bit later on. But Kulu, I think we'll play in the same way as we did away to City, Tommy, with Kulu being the protection for Emerson. I think he needs more than one player if Diaz is over there to protect him. But I think he'll be the one who's the engine to go down and up and down and up. But if it's Salah, Mane, Diaz, Kane, Son, Kulu, it's very similar front three in the sense that Kane, Son, Mane, Salah, been there, done that, got the T-shirt, and all four of them. I don't care what anyone says, Son is world class. And Kulu and Diaz are very similar in the sense that both new signings, but look like they've played in that front three and in the Premier League for donkey's years. What Liverpool have is the options on the bench to change it. Jota, Firmino. We have Morva, who on his day can be amazing, but on his day was 3 years ago. What do you think those front three, either team will decide the outcome of this game, or do you think there's other ways that this game will be decided? And Thiago in midfield is going to run that game. It's up to us, like Wayne says, midfield to stand strong. If they have the ball, we're not that bothered about that because that allows us to counter-attack. But yeah, do you think it's a game of two front threes, or do you think there's other things at play which will decide this game?
I think.
Well, it's all. Who's that to?
Whoever, but yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, I thought you said Tommy. I thought you said Tommy at the start.
Yeah, and we'll go to Jamie afterwards.
Right. So basically, I mean, of course, it's it's about the attack. Football's about the attack. If you don't score, you don't win. But it's how you supply the attack. It's how you supply them. And both teams. I wouldn't say both teams have got fantastic centre midfield. I think if you look at Liverpool's weakness and you look at Anderson's, Keita's, Fabinho's very good, but they're not. I wouldn't say they're absolutely outstanding, world class centre mids. I think maybe one or two. But they don't need it with their wingers and their fullbacks. The problem is we don't have the fullbacks. We don't have the wingbacks. So we rely on our front three completely, and we'll play the same. I'm convinced we'll do the same thing we've done against Man City when we beat them 3-2. It will simply be a 7-3. It will be seven at the back. Just try and win that ball and boot it up to Kulusevski, Son, and Kane. It was a 7-3 against Man City. People say it was a great defensive performance. You're going to defend great if you've got 7 in the box. So that's probably how we're going to set up against Liverpool. It's our best chance because if we go like for like and we play the way we've been playing, we go with the same system we've been playing Brentford, Brighton, even Leicester, we're going to be in trouble. They'll rip us apart.
It's a completely different game though, isn't it? For Paddy Hartnett has said here, I feel we'll give Liverpool a proper game, a lot closer than a lot of Spurs fans think. How you doing, Paddy? Brighton and Brentford, sit back, let us have the ball. Crowd out the midfield. Kane doesn't get any sniff of anything. Liverpool will attack us, and therefore that allows Kane to, when the turnover happens, if Liverpool have committed people forward, it happened in the 2-2 time and time again. So I think it'll be a completely different game, and I'm convinced we'll score. I think we'll get quite a few shots on goal. It's just whether we concede 5 before we get to that. So I think it's a completely different game. Same with Arsenal; they'll attack us as well. I think. Whereas Brighton, Brentford, and we've got Burnley coming up. That will be the games that are tricky for us because Kane can't get into the game. Just my opinion, but do you think Kane, Tommy, will get into the game in the same way he did at City? Because I think you're right. I think it will be 7 defending, 3 in attack, and try and ping that kind of counter attack.
Yeah. I mean, the out ball, when we win possession in the 7, will have to be Kane because we usually get it to Kane. He's our most creative midfielder as well. And then he releases Son and Kulu. You can hit it straight to Son and Kulu, and they were magnificent. Kulusevski's City, which is brilliant. That's where you want. That's what you want from your players. That you want them to rise against the big opposition. So that's why I'm confident. I'm confident they'll do it tomorrow. Of course, we're heavily reliant on Kane. Every game we're heavily reliant on Kane. So yeah. I mean, with that sort of ultra deep line, it's key we don't concede early. it's absolutely key we don't concede early, because then we have to leave gaps. Then we have to change from a 7-3, don't we? We have to push up, and then we will leave gaps at the back, and we just can't do that.
Didn't we concede first in the previous game? Were we 1-0 down?
No, I think we went 1-0 up.
We went 1-0 up, didn't we?
1-0 up, yeah.
We were 2-1 down, weren't we? And then we got back 2-2. So, and we didn't really change a huge amount. But I think even if you go 1-0 down, you change.
If you've got 133 goals, if you've got 133 goals and you score early, you've got your head in your hands. As a Spurs fan, you're like, what are we going to do here? I think
if we go toe-to-toe with Liverpool at any point in the game, we could get killed there.
Listen, Chris, listen. You go. Listen, I think other teams have realised, and even though it will play into our hands, you try and go toe to toe with Liverpool, especially when we've got Reguilon out for the season. So we've got Weetabix at left back, and then you've got Shepherd's Pie at right back. You've literally got it's if you go toe to toe with them, they will rip you apart. They will rip you apart. We always score at Anfield. That's the one saving grace. Apart from the 4-0 under Tim Sherwood, where we started singing "Let's Pretend We Scored a Goal," and then we started celebrating. We normally score at Anfield, and we normally score first. And it's just whether if we did it under Mourinho, and then what did we do? We literally just went back and defended and tried to do the Mourinho way. I think it's vital that we score early. And when I say early, let's say the first 20 minutes. Because if they score early, then I do unfortunately feel, like Tommy said, it's going to be head in hands and brace yourself, because it could be a Tonkin, and then goal difference becomes an issue. We have to set the agenda. We have to set the agenda and try and get that goal first, and then deal with it better than we did under Mourinho.
Yeah, I mean, away games are all like this, but Anfield especially, shut the crowd up early doors. If that crowd get on top, it's going to filter down to the players, and Liverpool, to be perfectly honest, let's be honest, don't need any encouragement to go at teams at the moment the way they're playing.
Yeah, you're not going to shut Anfield up, mate. Trust me. They've already got one cup. They're going for the league. They've just qualified for the Champions League final. They're going to welcome their players back. If you remember when they were going toe-to-toe with Man City and the bus drove in, and you could see it down Anfield Way, where they were literally, this place is going to be absolute, that cop from minute one. And that crowd is going to be on another level tomorrow, another goddamn level.
Yeah, and I was going to say about what you're saying about the way Man City, you played against Man City. My only difference with that is that Man City haven't got the firepower Liverpool got, and Liverpool are a bit more direct than Man City are. So Man City like to slow the tempo down. They don't mind a slow type of game where it's ticky-tacky, passing around 2-yard passes everywhere. City happy that where Liverpool will go, Van Dijk will get the ball and just put a 70-yard cross ball over to, Mane or Salah or whoever's out there. And we don't mind going very direct. So I think it's not good to play a deep. Like, I know everyone keeps saying that Liverpool are terrible against low blocks. Every low block team we play, we win. So it's, I don't know if that is completely true. It's just that they frustrate us, but we still get the result at the end of the day. I think with Spurs, they just need to play a bit, not so deep, and play a little bit higher up and be brave. If Spurs can be brave against Liverpool, and look for them balls over the top of Liverpool's midfield and not try and play through our midfield, because you're not really going to play through Fabinho and Thiago too much. I mean, when them two have played together, we've never lost. When Fabinho and Thiago played together, we've never lost. And it's just, you've got to play over the top of them. Because what I will always say about Fabinho and Thiago, I love them. I love Fabinho. He's fantastic. Thiago we've got the Bayern Munich Thiago now. That's what we're seeing at this moment in time. But one thing is, against their names, both of them, they got no pace. So you can run past them. And when you get run past them, they got no recovery pace. And that's what killed us against Manchester City in them games. Their midfield run past us. Now, when I look at Spurs' midfield, I don't know if Bentancur and Højbjerg will run past.
No, they certainly won't. They certainly will not.
Fab and Thiago. So I think it's up to Kane to drop in between them. If Kane can drop in between them and get the ball, because Kane's not slow, but he's not quick. He's that sort of weird sort of. He's not that slow. He's not that quick, but he's got enough pace about him over 5 yards to get away from people. And if he can play in between the gaps there in between Fabinho and Thiago and getting them gaps just behind them, and he gets the ball, that's when Liverpool go in trouble. So for me, I think that Spurs Saturday night just have to be a little bit braver, and if they are, they can get something. Look, I've said it, Liverpool go to take some hurting on Saturday night to win the game, because you've got to respect Spurs, and I've got to respect Spurs' front three, especially. I'm not one of these cocky Liverpool fans. There's a lot of cocky Liverpool fans that piss me off sometimes, and because they ruin the fan base and they make everyone hate us. And it's not us on reflection, and I worry about Spurs. I really do, but their front three is deadly. I love Son. I said to Chris yesterday, apart from Salah, Son's the best winger in the country, and I think he's a tremendous footballer. Don't get spoken about enough. I don't know why. Tremendous footballer.
We're happy though. We're happy he doesn't, because he wouldn't be at Spurs.
Yeah,
he probably wouldn't be at Spurs.
Yeah.
So.
Tremendous footballer. I don't know what his strong foot is. He's great with both feet. He's got great pace. He's probably more clinical than Mo Salah. I will say that. I think he's more clinical than Mo Salah. But he's a fantastic. He's the player I look at more than Harry Kane as an opposition fan. I always have done, because his pace, his trickery, his clinical in front of goal. That worries me more than Harry Kane does at times. And because I think Harry Kane can go quiet sometimes for 90 minutes, but Son seems to be always on the edge of a game. It's always on the edge of a game. And he has that little second, he's going to be finishing it. You just know he is. So, yeah, I worry about your front three. And I think you're going to give us a bit of a hurting on Saturday that we're going to have to go through.
Yeah, we worry about yours, but a couple of comments here. Scott M. Don't worry, our midfield will not run past them at all. And if by some miracle Højbjerg does, Thiago and Fabinho will have no problem recovering and catching him. Have some faith. And same to you, Audio Artisan. I have a bad feeling that one of our wing backs will get injured. I mean, that is a worry now, certainly with that right side and left side now with Veguion injured. Paddy Hartnett says, deciding factor of the game will be the bench. Liverpool have subs to change the game if needed. Spurs don't. That's a huge worry for me.
Bang on the money.
And Wayne Bonner. I'd have Kane drop deep and pull the strings to free up Kulu and Son cutting in. I think that will happen. I think the space will be there with you attacking going forward in the same way it happened at White Hart Lane. But we'll come to that a bit later on. And a question from Bob, Jamie. We mentioned this on your show yesterday. Yeah. Spurs fans always look at the 4-1 win at Wembley in 2017 as a sliding doors moment. It certainly worked out well for you guys. Do you fans look at that day in the same light? I mean, you went out, you bought Alisson, you bought Van Dijk's, transformed, 31 clean sheets now, allowed the basis for your front players to go and do their stuff. We stood still. Do Liverpool fans look at that in the same light, or is it just it's in the past now? We are where we are now.
I've never been so pissed off in a game of football in my whole life. I threw everything. I pulled my carpet up. Everything went mad in that game. DJ and Lovren. Lovren's one. Then I think every club has his centre back occasionally in their team once or a while. You have a centre back who all he wants to do is fight the striker. He's not interested in doing anything with the football. He just wants to fight the striker. And all Lovren wanted to do that game was fight Harry Kane. And you're not going to win. Stop doing it. And Harry Kane's like, this bloke's a joke. And just took the utter piss out of him. And then Liverpool were like, right, that's it. We're going back in. Because we was in for the summer for Van Dijk that summer. But it all got a bit naughty. We apologised. And then we're like, fuck it. Let's take the apology back and got him in January. So it's like, we can't have that again. And, that was a moment. I think that was the last Spurs winner against Liverpool as well. And that Alisson, and I always get asked the question, who was the better signing, Van Dijk or Alisson, because came in at the same time. But I've seen us play games without Van Dijk and Alisson still in goal, and Alisson keep us in games. But Van Dijk is he's just the master at the back. I mean, we catch so many people offside because because of Van Dijk's line. It's Van Dijk who went to Klopp and said he wants to play this high line. He said, we got the pace to do it. I've got the recovery pace. We can play this high line. It works best for us. And he's the one in charge of it. And when he's not playing and we're played at high line, it's not quite the same. So it's all about.
You need that defender there who's in charge, don't you? It's my line. You're following my lead. We were so fortunate years gone by that Toby and Jan were both that defender, and they know each other so well that Whereas now we've kind of got Romero, but I mean,
he's a G. He's a great
Brian. It's not exactly versus here because they're obviously the same position. They're not going to come up against each other, but that those front six are probably going to dictate the game, and it's up to the defence to stop them. So Romero versus Van Dijk, who comes out on top there? I mean, Van Dijk is world class. There's no two ways about that. He's probably certainly in the top 3 best defenders in the world by now, if not the top. Romero's got the potential to be that level. He's not quite there at the moment, but he is by far and away our best central defender. But
Look,
it's about him storming into people, isn't it? Not giving. He was brilliant against Antonio against West Ham, forced him off. He's very different against these 3. But yeah, who comes out on top in this battle for you?
So do you know what? Like Bob Spurs said, I don't think there's a centre forward that's got the best of Romero this season. Not a single one of them. What I will say about Van Dijk is this is where, like you spoke about going out and getting it, Van Dijk and Addison. This is where I love Liverpool and what Liverpool do. They tried to buy him the summer window before, and even Van Dijk put in a transfer request. Nope, you're not getting him. You're not getting. They stuck to their guns. Klopp even got asked by the Liverpool hierarchy, do you want another defender? He was like, no, I want Van Dijk. Let's wait till January. December the 31st, on the phone to Southampton. How much for Van Dijk? We fucked up. 75 mil. There you go, 75 mil. He's at Anfield on New Year's Day. Big club mentality. Liverpool, also a stat that really I hope we can break. Van Dijk has not been on the losing side at Anfield since he's been there.
No.
When they lost games last season, that's when he had his injury. He has not lost at Anfield in the Premier League.
And we got the draw when we got the point in December. We got the point in December without Van Dijk.
But he's not lost. He has not been on the losing side at Anfield,
60,
which is just
61 games undefeated.
Which is just unbelievable. But now getting on to Romero, and I'll bring my best mate Bob Spur up again. Bob Spur, as I always say this, Bob Spur, when we were going for him and the Irish Hotspur, but Bob Spur, because obviously I speak to him most days, was like, Brian, and he even said it on streams, whenever I hear this guy name mentioned with our club, I want to grab the Kleenex. He was trying to get a sponsorship deal with Kleenex because he was getting so excited. And I didn't understand, because I didn't know a lot about him, but my word, this guy is jaw-droppingly fantastic. He is unbelievable. And I've been saying it's very, very hard. We use this term world class way too often. Yeah. And for me, Romero isn't quite there. He will get there for sure. Yeah. I'm sure within the next couple of years. Like, to me, he is the second best defender in the league to Van Dijk, because Van Dijk's stats don't lie. They do not lie. And you saw when he was out last season what a massive loss he was. But I reckon in a couple of years, maybe even next year, you're talking about the players in the same breath. But Van Dijk will always edge it because the trophy's won. But this guy, how the one of the Parasic's done 2 good things at Tottenham, or if you want to include Kulu and Bentancur, but 1 was Romero, 2 was Conte, and this guy Romero is just levels above anything at the club. His anticipation is reading the game like he makes the hard things look easy. And then what I've also seen with him is I've never seen a defender have so much space. His anticipation of reading the ball, and it's like the Red Sea has parted when he comes charging through, because it's like literally he is just a very, very, very special player, and he's becoming a cult hero. And he is strongly like Højbjerg. Everyone knows my love for Højbjerg, but I think Romero right now has taken him over. I think I have to say, if I was buying stuff at the club shop now, and I had to get a player's name on the back, 100% it's Romero.
Have you actually bought Romero? Because I don't know. Is it
it's an obligation to buy.
Yeah,
so
it's a weird thing, isn't it?
Because there are 2 obligations, ain't you? Kulusevski and Romero.
No, Kulusevski is a Kulusevski. We've got a loan for 2 years. It's only an obligation if we get Champions League. Yes, okay. If we get Champions League, it becomes an obligation. But we also have an option to buy them at a cheaper rate in the summer, which I think we're gonna. It looks like we are going to obviously pay the money earlier. But if we get if we get Champions League, it's an obligation. But Romero, because he was at Juventus and we bought him from Atlanta, and you can't sign for 2 teams in the same year, so it was a loan with an obligation. So at the end of the season, he becomes ours.
But I don't think it's actually an obligation. I think how it's done.
It's an obligation.
I think how it's done is we paid a hell of a lot of money up front. So that's not going to be, you're not going to see that. That's behind the scenes, because obviously Serie A teams, you can't sign 2 players in the same window. That's Atlanta signed him from Juventus, and then we signed him from Atlanta. So, but what we done, I think we gave £40 million up front. So that's the loophole. There's the loophole. You pay £40 million in the summer. You don't know what that fee is. Then you pay the rest the following summer. But Spurs are not going to say no, are they? Because they've already paid £40 million. So they're not just going to say, no, we'll give that £10 million up, forget about it. And Romero is obliged to accept the contract. So he has to accept the contract. So we can't bid £40 million, then he decides to go, and then we've lost £40 million. If we pay the £10 million, we get him. It's a weird one because of the transfer window. It's not an obligation. It might as well be. So I think that's how that works. And in terms of Romero himself, I think we need to calm down a little bit. We definitely need to calm down a little bit because he was injured for 3 months as well. So he hasn't played that. I think he's played 19 games, 20 games. So I think we have to be a little bit careful. He looks like he's going to be world class. He's also very, very unique. Very, very unique. There aren't many centre-backs like him. So he's very, very different to Van Dijk. You know, Van Dijk holds the line. Is exactly what we need. Somebody in the middle of our 3 centre-backs to hold the line, to sort the other defence out, to win balls in the air. That's probably not what Romero is. Romero's not even good at winning the balls in the air. That's his weakness, in fact. But on the ground, no striker will enjoy playing against Romero. They will be daunting coming up against Romero because he's so quick along the ground as well. Do you think along the ground.
Do you think there's an element of him being caught out? Obviously, Antonio back to goal, never got a chance to turn around. If he does that to Mane, Salah, Diaz, they might be a bit too wily for him, and then he gets out of position, commits fouls, one too many, yellow card, maybe red card. Or do you think Conte will have a word with him and say, calm down, keep it tight, don't dive in? Yeah, what do you think of he's absolutely superb in anticipating, certainly against Antonio, you know, anticipating where the ball is, getting into him, no standing off or anything like that. But yeah, Tommy, do you think he could possibly be undone with a bit of over exuberance against wily world-class strikers?
Absolutely. You can't play. Look who he's got alongside him, Romero. Look how he stood out, and he's got Dyer there. He's got Emerson there. You're like, for him to stand out, well, we wouldn't have to do much to stand out, but he's got so much work to do. He's got so much workload with those players next to him. You just imagine if we had a quality middle centre-back, and we've got Ben Davies, left-back, playing left centre-back as well. Imagine if we had a good back line, it would look even better. It would look even classier. He will get caught out because he's ultra-aggressive. But he can do that in a free. You should have someone covering for him. When he's not going to win every challenge. No footballer in the world is going to do that. So you have a covering defender. The problem is Dyer's too deep. And I just want to talk to Jamie about that because, you know, you mentioned that we need to be brave and we need to push up to give us a chance against you. This is the problem. It's like Eric Dyer. Our middle centre-back, he's naturally so deep. He's so deep. So our team in general is deep, very deep. The only way we're going to beat Liverpool is if we just stay ultra deep and just hope they don't score goals. Because we played against Brighton and Brentford without the ultra deep line, but we're still deep naturally because we've got Dyer there. So that's the way we have to win. You know, it's going to be unbelievably difficult. We're just going to have to try and keep a clean sheet for 30 minutes, and then where you're getting a bit unsettled because you need to win the Premier League title, we have to try and counter-attack from there. So Romero, I rate very, very highly, but the fact that he's been out for 3 months, only played 19 games, let's just be a bit careful. Looks like he's going to be fantastic, but I just want us to be a bit careful. Yeah.
Tommy, I have to say very, very quickly, non-Spurs related. Why is it every time I see your curtains, I want to play a Rubik's Cube?
I know, it's mad. It's crazy. You like my cactus as well? I've got an addiction to cactus. Some people have got like drug addictions and gambling addictions. Mine is cactuses. I collect cactuses.
Well, all one of them.
Yeah.
I've
got a few. That's just one on the windowsill. So
a couple of comments here. Graham says draw tomorrow is no good for both teams. No, exactly. That's probably true, actually. So I mean, that would probably make it quite an open game. Daryl Denton said, "Lego head Arteta. He's just got a 3-year contract."
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
I'm sure a lot of Arsenal fans that I know won't be happy about that. Paddy Hartnett. I'm doing Paddy. Romero's a mixture of Ledley King, Graham Roberts. Daryl says more like Vidic and Dawson. But there's no doubt he's got a big future in the game as long as he progresses the way he is. And then talking about Romero and the agreement, Paddy says the agreement between Spurs and Atlanta is a season-long loan deal with an option, not obligation.
I thought so.
42.5 million, and the 5-year contract has already been agreed. Romero
Oh,
and the
thank
club,
God.
so it's only a formality. And Sean in the chat as well. How you doing, Sean? He was on last week.
Big up Sean, who hit 1,000 subscribers yesterday.
Yeah.
So big
Oh,
up
yes.
to Sean
Big up.
hitting
Well
the
done,
1,000 club.
Yeah.
Man.
Really lovely guy as well. I met him for the
top man.
West Ham game, and he was on here a week ago.
We got something in common, guys, because I hate Arsenal just as much as you guys. I really do.
Well,
said
Jamie,
this
I love
Chris
you even
yesterday.
more, brother.
I said this, Chris. I can't stand Arsenal. I hate them with a passion. And they're not really rivals of Liverpool as much, I suppose. But I just can't stand their fan base. I hate them with a passion.
Do you hate them more than Chelsea?
I'm starting to laugh at Chelsea at the moment.
Going back to the Rafa Benitez Mourinho days, isn't it? It's the Rafa Benitez Mourinho.
It was more of the managers hating each other, weren't it? Then, but Arsenal. I'm sorry, Arsenal just do my head in. They win 3 games in a row and they think they're the greatest team in the world. They lose 3 games in a row. They're bipolar FC. That's what Arsenal are. They just don't know what they are, and I can't stand them. I want you guys to finish 4th. I want them 5th. Man United 6th, and Chelsea go out of business. It'd be the greatest season of all time. It's what I want. So I can't stand Arsenal. I really can't. You guys got to get 4th. Obviously, you got to lose Saturday. I love you guys, but you have to lose Saturday. But you're going to have to beat them in the North London derby and Arsenal will collapse. And you get 4th, and that'd be fantastic. Because my brother-in-law's a Spurs fan. My nephew's a Spurs fan. So obviously, I've got a soft spot for Spurs at the same time. And I used to watch Spurs growing up when I was a kid. I mean, I don't look it, but I'm 40 years old. I had the gift from God that gave me young-looking skin. So,
Jamie, where are you based? Are you based in London?
I'm based in South London, yeah. But my dad was a huge. He was like born in Liverpool, and he was a huge Liverpool fan. So, as soon as I started watching football, I sat next to him on the telly, and that was it. He got one choice.
The John Barnes era.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up. The first ever game I went to was the 91 semi-final against Crystal Palace, and my dad never took me to another game after. Said I was bad luck. And I witnessed my dad smash our telly with a brick in 1989 when we lost the league on the last day of the season to Arsenal, and that's when I knew. That's when I know. Hang on, this club means a lot to him because he has just destroyed our telly. And back then,
why has he got bricks in the living room?
He found bricks somewhere. I don't know. I was only a kid at the time. But he found a brick
it from your wall.
I think he probably went in the garden.
Yeah, he ripped the house down. He played the plug with the house.
That's passion. Smash, and it's like, well, obviously this team means a lot to my dad because he's just, destroyed our telly, which weighs, an American at the time. Them tellies were like 20 stone, weren't they? You couldn't lift them. You needed 4 people. And so I was like, well, if he's this angry about it, he must be loving them that much. So I supported them with my dad. So 30 years of supporting the club. And I went through the shit of the 90s and all that. Like, when people call me a glory hunter because I'm from London, I'm like, nah, man, I've been supporting them for 30 years. We were crap in the 90s, and we're only just hitting the success again now. So,
I say, I can't stand Man City, so I want you to win the league, but with one loss left this season, which comes on Saturday. But I mean, it's safe to say that you're by far the better team, and the likelihood is that you will win. But I mean, looking on the positive side, scraping about, is there any chance of a hangover from that semi-final that you had, or are you just a machine at the moment? Because we don't know how City will fare after Newcastle, because that's got to be a big kick in the teeth mentally, as well as the actual scoreline. What happened in Madrid, injury time, they're winning and they're through, and then they end up losing. Do you think there's any hangover from your semi-final, or do you think you're so on form at the moment, so focused on that quadruple, such a machine that it's just, like you said earlier, Klopp, one game at a time, and then that semi-final's forgotten because it doesn't mean anything until whenever the Champions League final is?
Yeah, I mean, I think Man City looking at it probably go with one of them Jaeger hangovers, one of them Jaeger hangovers that are going to last for a little bit, that they have to get over, because that was, they basically lost it in injury time in the game. That's heartbreaking. That's hard to get over. With us, I don't know. I think we're just, you heard them after saying, they celebrate tonight, and then the next day it was all concentration on Liverpool. I believe them when they say that as well. So, no, I think we'll be all right. I said, I do think we'll be all right, but as this game is difficult, you know, the players already been speaking about it. Klopp's been speaking about it. Spurs are going to be a difficult game. It's going to be a big test. You know, I think what's helped us that it's actually Saturday night and not like a 12:30 kickoff on Saturday or something like that. It's gave us it's plenty of time. There's no excuse of recovery because we played Tuesday. We came home Wednesday morning. You know, you got Thursday, Friday recover. We don't play till Saturday night. So recovery time's fine. So there's no excuse there for me. So I think we'll be fine. It'd just be.
Do you play before or after City this weekend?
We played before City played the Super Sunday game at 4:30.
Oh, right. So even more incentive for you as well.
Yeah. Massive.
Yeah, I mean, we play. I think we play after us. So I can't remember, but it doesn't really matter. But Brian, 2-2 earlier in the season, we had must have been at least 6 clear-cut chances with Klopp's ridiculous tactics on that day with just 2 at the back with Kane and Son there. Now you've got Kulu added to that as well. I can't believe, we'll come to how the game will pan out in predictions a bit later, but I can't believe he's going to play exactly the same way, Klopp, because Kane, Son aren't going to miss those chances again if presented with them. So do you think that gives us a kind of, you know, a positive outlook? This is Liverpool kept 31 clean sheets in however many games. We can get at them. Look at what we did earlier in the season. I know they didn't have their midfield, Van Dijk and everything like that. But
yeah,
do you think that
players
gives,
were up.
Yeah, but it is still Liverpool, and it is, you know. Do you think there's anything in that? The 2-2 earlier in the season, creating 6 clear-cut chances, just didn't take them. That Liverpool will be slightly wary of that.
So first of all, when it comes to Liverpool having a hangover, I don't know how people look at it as a hangover. It's like, yes, they got scared, but they went 2-0 down, so it was level in Africa, and they came back in the second half and smashed them 3-0. So they're on you can either look at it as a hangover or the adrenaline is pumping because they know they can go 2-0 down in one of the biggest games of the season and still conquer it. I would say it's less of a hangover than a hangover. But yeah, listen, at White Hart Lane, we always will give everyone a game. We will always try and give everyone a game, and especially when the crowd's up for it. Going to Anfield, our record is nothing short of abysmal. Nothing short of abysmal. And it plays, like we say, we're in City's heads. This has got to be in the Spurs place for Liverpool. They've got to know. And there's that famous episode on Ted Lasso when they go to that team that they haven't won for goddamn years. And they're like, oh, no, we're going to lose because it's this. We've got to just go in with the right mentality. Listen, if Kane drops deep and is allowed to drop deep, we will have chances. But you got to remember, as we've said, Alisson is no ordinary goalkeeper. You are talking about a goalkeeper on top form, whether it's rushing out. Yeah, another way to get him, he does seem a bit clumsy when he's pressured on a back pass. That's where sometimes he's a little bit liable, and he made the mistake in the home leg as well. Home fixture, to get Son's equaliser. So we will create opportunities. We have just got to be if there's one game to be at your most clinical best, it's this game. It is this game, because you don't know how many chances you're going to get at Anfield, and we just have to make sure we take them. But there is something there for us. There's definitely something there for us. We've just got to make sure we take it.
Yeah, and Tommy, the hoodoo for Spurs has to end sometime. I can't remember how long it is. I think it's 2011. I think Haas on your show.
Something to do with Modric and Van der Vaart scoring, something like that.
Yeah. But I mean, it has to end at some point. I mean, a lot of those players were in the team when we ended that hoodoo at Chelsea as well a few seasons ago. But yeah, 2-2 earlier in the season, creating chances with Kane coming deep. I can only assume that that's going to happen again. With Liverpool, don't really know how to be, sit deep and soak up pressure. So I think there will be chances, and then that will allow Kulu, Son, anyone else to go forward. Do you see the hoodoo ending? Do you see that 2-2 playing a part in it? Certainly in Klopp's kind of thinking of, we've got to sharpen up a little bit in defence when we lose the ball, or do you think it's just going to go to what the expectation is?
We have to end the hoodoo. We have to end the hoodoo here. I think it's 6 wins in 130 odd years at Anfield in all competitions. So
it's ridiculous.
That is mental. That's madness, absolute madness. So it's not going to be easy. But we do weird things, Spurs. We do crazy things. And we've beaten Man City twice this season, and they're above Liverpool. So I know it's going to be a very different game. You know, as Jamie said, you know, they can switch it up. You know, long balls, Van Dijk into the wingers, they can switch it up, which Man City can't really. That's not how they operate. So it's going to be a slightly different game. We have to pretty much set up the same way. Look, we drew 2-2 against Liverpool earlier on in the season. We were at home. They had Van Dijk missing. I remember them giving a debut to Morton. Who?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Morton. They had no centre midfield. They had no centre midfield. I think Milner played for the first time in 3 months. He was about, he's in his 40s. He must be in his 40s now. Milner, mid-40s, something like that. So, and someone else. I can't remember. I think Keita played as well.
Morton
Keita is probably, he's probably Klopp's bad signing, really, really bad signing, Keita, over, everyone else has performed other than Keita, probably. I'm not sure if Jamie would agree with that. But it was a weak Liverpool side, and we were at home. I think Ali started. I think Winks might have even started. So
Ali had actually a very good game.
And Dubele,
it was a good game.
Ali was your midfield in that game, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good game, but we can't take a lot from it, can we?
Ali had his one
Anfield.
good game in 3 years. In that game.
Oh yeah, he was good, wasn't he? Yeah, he was. He was actually really good. He has that little bounce, so doesn't he? Under new managers, he has a little bounce for 2 or 3 games, then just goes. What was his performances at Everton? You must be laughing. At what's happening to Everton right now. But you know what, like Klopp, it'd be disappointing for you, won't it, if Everton go down?
I don't actually want to get relegated. I want them to stay.
Yeah, exactly. That's what a lot of Liverpool fans are saying.
86 points every year, isn't it?
Mate, I am praying Everton go down, because if they do go down, there is another jokeable stat coming our way, which will be we're the only Premier League ever present that wouldn't have won the damn thing. If Everton go down, Everton are the ones keeping it from being just us. So Everton, please don't come down, because that'll be another chink in the armour for people to banter us with.
I'd love to see Frank Lampard. I'd love to see Frank Lampard get relegated. Though, if there's one person who deserves it, it's Frank Lampard. Stand that bloke. He's got such an ego on him, ain't he?
Yeah, I mean, the 2-2, Tommy, we played 3 in midfield. We did that against Leicester in, I think, the 3-2 as well. And we looked so much better team. Do you think that will happen this game? I don't think it will, because we just don't have the manpower there. You're putting Winks in there, which this isn't a game for Winks at Anfield. So I think it'll probably be 2 in the middle. But do you think Conte will try anything, or it'll be, as much as he can anyway, the same team that beat Leicester? And same formation, just with tactically probably the same as we beat Man City with.
Even in personnel, I think it'll be the same. It'll just be Kulu coming in for Lucas. I think Kulu will come in for Lucas, and that'll be it. The thing is, if you go with 3 in midfield, if you go 3-5, you lose your wing basically, and get a third centre mid and an extra striker. We don't really have, as good as Son is, he's not a natural striker. So I think we'll go 3-4-3 for certain. As you said, we don't want Winks in midfield. It make a lot of sense. Conte, if there's a negative for him, and I'm sure we'll agree, Spurs fans, his substitutions have not been great. I know he hasn't got many options, but he won't even change to a 3-5-2 during the game when we're losing. So I don't think he's going to change it at the start of the game. Not with the personnel we currently have. Just one question I want to ask Jamie. Champions League or Premier League?
Oh, fucking hell.
Well, he wants both, doesn't he? He wants the quadruple, but it's not a question.
You had a choice. If your life depended on it and you had a choice.
Both would be beautiful. Oh, man. 20 league, Premier League will equal 20 to Man United. That'd be another blow to them, wouldn't it? It's a hard one, because Liverpool have such a rich history in Europe, and Champions League is massive. And I would go, it's Premier League this season for me. It is Premier League this season for me. I have to say, I want 20 Premier Leagues. I want to equal. I mean, we've got 6 European. Man United never go get 6 European Cups, and and the Premier League. If we equal 20, there's no argument with the most successful team in English football. So, the league title. Next year it might be the league, Champions League. It'll flip back and forth, basically.
I mean, talk about the
title. Winning both, though, haven't you? You got every chance of winning both. Let's face it.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the title, this game, it's it's not just a title on the line. Top 4 as well, both kind of on the line in this game. I mean, for yourself, Jamie, with the title, do you think this is a crucial game for you,
yeah,
or do you think
massive.
if you lose this, or do you think City will slip up somewhere? You said earlier that there's still twists and turns. Do you think this is an imperative game to win, or do you think it is what it is at this stage?
We have to win. We have to win every game. The levels that City and Liverpool are at right now, a draw is a loss. It's that bad now. That's the way it is at this moment in time. I mean, if we both win our games, they win the league by a point again, like 18, 19. They go on 95 points, we go on 94 points. It's unheard of that, runners up are getting like 94, 97 points and not winning titles. This is what Liverpool City are doing at the moment. And yeah, we have to win. It's as simple as that. And look, if we win Saturday, and I say it's if, because I think it will be a very tight game, very close game, but Liverpool go through, bad spells. They're going to have to get through this game. If we win, I really think it puts a seed of doubt into City's heads, because no matter what the greatest City fan will say, that game against Madrid is going hard to get over if you're a player. That is hard. You had the game in your hands in both legs, and you've thrown it away. And basically, they lost it in injury time. I know it went to extra time and penalty, but they lost it in injury time.
Well, that first leg was very similar to when we beat them. They're at home. They've taken the lead. I mean, Real Madrid are a better team than we were back then. But, they let us get back into the game. It turned into a crazy game, 4-3 to them, I think, which obviously the one away goals were a factor there. So we went through. And they had Real Madrid done and let them back in the game as well. It's just, you talk about game management and you said that your biggest issue you see is seeing games out. It's all game management, but that's twice in huge games, different seasons obviously, but the same competition. That Man City are desperate to win that Champions League. The league is nice, but they're desperate to win that Champions League, and it's beautiful the fact that they still can't, with that Ford in charge of them. Can't stand him either.
Yeah, that's what he was brought in for.
It's game management, and Scott here has said he doesn't think City slip up at all, so the title is already over. Obviously they're a point clear, so they win all of their games, they're the title, but definitely aren't slipping up twice, and Liverpool can't lose. But it remains to be seen, doesn't it? Certainly if you beat us and then you're ahead of them, they've then got to bounce back to the disappointment that they're second now, and the disappointment that the competition they really want, they've messed up again. So I could see City slipping up, and like you say, slipping up is a draw these days for you two top teams. Mad. I can see them not beating Newcastle there. But I think the title, top four, and relegation place, the last relegation place, are all going to the last day of the season. I think they'll be fully tied this year.
I heard someone say today they wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool and Manchester City both lost this weekend, and we still are where we are.
I'd take that.
Which would be madness. Which would be madness.
We'll get that invited, and then that has to happen. That helps us out. Bob Spurs just said breaking news. Try not to blow up. Graham Potter emerging as favourite to replace Conte at Tottenham if Conte goes at the end of the season, but it's understood Potter would cost in excess of 10 million. That's Matt Law.
You know what makes me laugh? I've got to say this now, because if that's come true, I'm just going to take a shot right now at the Spurs web, who yesterday broke...
It is Spurs web, isn't it?
That Antonio Conte is yet to give his shopping list to Levy, whereas today they have tweeted Antonio Conte gives title-winning list to Levy. That's a big 24 hours. And now Potter has become... Oh, mate, do you know what? This football club makes me sick. I love them to death, and I support the team. I support the manager. But this board and the way we do business and the way we operate makes me sick.
But that's if all of that is true, though. There's, you get one story. Is Conte going yes or no?
This is Tottenham Hotspur. When these rumours come out, is there a bit...
Spurs web are bullshitters.
No. They are the biggest load of bullshit. But with these rumours...
it's just a Twitter channel that give fake.
It's
essentially clickbait. You get so much of that though. Is Conte leaving? You get 10 stories all saying something completely different. So unless it comes out of Conte's mouth, Levy's mouth, official Spurs,
mate, there's no smoke without fire.
To it at all.
There's no. Do you know what? I'll give you a prime example. I was on a stream yesterday. I can't remember who I was with. I was Sean. It was Sean from Let's Talk Spurs. Even Sean clocked it. Apparently, you know that Turkish guy we're after, Yilmaz, that defender. Apparently, they have said 10 million. He goes. Nothing more, nothing less. 10 million, 10 million, 10 million. It's strongly rumoured that a Premier League club has come in with 8 million. Who do you reckon that is? We're just talking with Liverpool. Van Dijk, what do you want, Southampton? 75 mil? Yeah. Bang, there you go, 75 mil.
But until
10 million,
all of these,
mate,
until all of these are from official sources, I don't believe anything I read on Twitter anymore.
Mate,
it's like we've just been, apparently, it's breaking news on a lot of very well-known journalists who break the news on Liverpool news that it looks like we're going to sign Tuchemeni from Monaco. So, I mean,
he's class. He's class.
Yeah, I mean, if that's
19,
true, I mean, that'd be ridiculous. Midfield of him, Thiago, Fabinho.
Yeah, the last play you signed from Monaco centre midfield was Fabinho, wasn't it? It was Fabinho. And he was outstanding.
Yeah, 40 mil.
Couple more comments from Scott M. Agree it will go to the last weekend, so I don't see Liverpool slipping up either. Then if all of these Twitter rumours, Potter will be fun, obviously not as good as Conte, but at least he plays good football. But till it's official, couldn't care less what's said on Twitter and all of these channels. But Brian, in terms of tomorrow, obviously top 4, is it more about not losing than it is? Obviously, we want to win, but we went on 2 games losing after 4 wins, winning straight. And we expected to lose this game, a ground we'd never win. Is it more about not losing and keeping that momentum? Obviously, it's not as great a momentum as a win, but a draw at Anfield, like you said earlier, snap your hands off and then see what Arsenal do. Hopefully, they slip up as well.
Listen, I mean, with the loss to Brighton and the draw to Brentford, we kind of gave away this being a free hit and we can lose this game. If we'd won both those games or got 4 points, we're 1 point above Arsenal still, and we're talking a different ball game. That maybe we can afford this. We can't. Listen, I've said getting a draw will put pressure on Liverpool.
Here. More chance you giving up more than Levy Mattin and asking.
You know what? Honestly, I love this man dearly, and everyone knows my love for this man.
Look,
and he's
Daigle, there's no smoke without fire. He's mentioned Liverpool a lot.
Mate, then you've got to worry, because then that would mean Bob would be watching it with me to know. So then you've got a real problem, and we live in 2 different countries. So yeah, let's iron out that wrinkle away.
I will say is he puts that on every stream you're on. He always gets a reaction. You never fail.
He does this for the reaction, and the reason
I didn't know there was the wolf porn.
Neither did I until he told me about it. But this is the thing. Bob does this on pay. He knows he'll get a rise out of me, and he does it for that. And it's all part of me and him and our friendship and our brotherhood.
What part of your body will rise? What part of your body will rise?
None of it, brother. None of it. But yeah, just as I was saying, he's picking me up from the airport when I land, and you may have breaking news that a murder has happened at the airport. Who knows? But yeah, going back to this game, if we get a draw, Arsenal know they can't slip up. Arsenal, and that's what it does. If we lose, Arsenal know, right, the 2 points, let's get 5. So I think if we can just put in we've got to put in a great performance. It's going to have to be a stellar. Oh, Jesus Christ. I love you, brother, but revenge, my friend. But as I was saying, it's just important that we put on a great performance. If we put a great performance out, we may get something. If we get a draw, like I said, I'll snap your hand off it. If we win, then that really, I think we win that, we get top 4, because Arsenal won't recover, and we will win the remainder of our games and Arsenal won't. So that will be, if we get the win, it will be, in my opinion, top 4 race done, because I think we're going to smash the filth. I just think having them at home, first time in the stadium with a full house, they're just not going to be able to live with it. But my head is saying 1-1, my heart is saying 2-1 us. So come on, heart. Come on, heart.
And Tommy, for you, is it about keeping the momentum? Because obviously, if you get a draw at Anfield, that says to Arsenal, wow, they don't get beaten by either the best or second best team in the league, possibly a history-making team. But you don't want a loss, and a devastating loss at that, going into the biggest game of our season, that North London derby. But if we can win, like Brian says, it says to them, oh my God, they've just beaten Liverpool, their hardest game there. We've really got to win now. That could put pressure on them, and then they slip up against Leeds. So for you, is it imperative we don't lose, or even if we lose, but it's fighting and we're unlucky, does that still give us something going into that North London derby? Obviously, if Arsenal then beat Leeds, North London derby is even bigger.
We don't draw too many games, do we? I mean, the Brighton draw was the first in 20. So since then, Brentford was the first in 20. So 21 games, we've only drawn one game. And I think Liverpool need the win so much as well. They're desperate to get the win. I think both teams, I hope if it is level going into the last 10, 20 minutes, Conte doesn't hold for the draw. I really hope he doesn't hold for the draw. Because say we draw against Liverpool and we draw against Arsenal, they're 2 points, they're 2 points clear. It's in their hands still. It's in their hands. I believe we'll beat Arsenal, but Arsenal are a good team right now. They're not a great team. They're a good team right now. So they could easily get a draw at the North London derby. So for me, we have to go all out for a win. We have to go all out for a win. And as we know, it's said a lot, attack is the best form of defense. And you can't sit back in the last 20, 30 minutes against Liverpool if you're level. For me, you've got to go for it. And it would be beyond the realms of possibility to get the win because, as I said, because Liverpool need the 3 points so much. But they're going into it with momentum. As Brian said about it's not a hangover, is it? This is momentum. The Villarreal game would have given them momentum, so they're coming into the game with momentum. It's going to be a tricky game, but under the lights, 8:00 Saturday. What a big game that is. Going into the North London derby Thursday. What a massive game that is. So it's imperative we win. But I will argue about the form thing because North London derby is separate to form. Form goes out the window almost. Form goes out the window in North London derby.
You still want a bit of positive energy and momentum going into that.
But we need to win. We need to win. So I'm going to say, I don't usually agree with people when it comes to predictions, but my head's telling me perhaps a draw or a loss. I think we'll win or lose. Do you know what? I think we'll win or lose. But I think we can win. I honestly do believe we can get rid of the hoodoo and maybe nick it 2-1, something like that. Nick it 2-1. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, Scott M said it's not imperative that we win because Arsenal can lose any game at any time. Makes top four very unlikely because we are likely to drop points in the last 3 games as well. Like I said, I think it will go to the last game of the season. Same with the league, same with relegation. But let's move on to the last point here. How will the game pan out and predictions? I can't give score predictions. I'm a coward. It's too much tempting fate. But in terms of the game panning out, Jamie, firstly, tempers. Kane should have been sent off in that game before he scored. Robertson was rightly sent off towards the end.
Totally.
Do you think the managers will be saying, calm it down, lads, calm it down? We've got a lot to play for here. We can't afford any suspensions or silly suspensions or anything like that. So show desire, show fight, but calm it down.
Yeah, I mean, there's always actually a little bit of fire in Tottenham Liverpool games, ain't there? There's always just something, there's always a little bit of fire in these games. And like the last game out, Kane should have definitely got sent off, and Robbo deserved his red card as well. So it was definitely a fiery game.
Let's not forget Kane should have got a red card in that game as well.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, on Jota's foul, I've just been looking back in it. So Liverpool, the 9 games that Liverpool dropped points this season, Thiago didn't play in 8 of them. That's how important he is to our side. And
he's your midfield general, isn't he? He's
the
one who I saw you against Man United, and he was. You can talk about how bad Man United were. He just controlled that game.
Yeah, and I think Tottenham. I think from a Spurs point of view, they can't let Thiago run the game because he can break. He's the player who can break the low block. He's the player who can find the run, the space, the pass. He is that good. So I think you need someone sitting on Thiago to stop him playing. You really do, because if he gets hold of it, because Liverpool go into possession. Because the way I look at Tottenham, I say I like Tottenham. I've got a lot of love for Tottenham, and when I watch Tottenham play this season, I always think Tottenham are a better and more dangerous team when they don't have possession of the football.
Absolutely.
Tottenham have the more possession of the team that should win games. That's when, like against Brightons and teams like that, that's when they come a bit unstuck. But against the big teams like the Liverpools, your Cities, they and Chelsea's and that, they can play their way and their game, and they don't mind not having. They can have 40% of the ball because they like to play the counter attack. And Tottenham are one of the best counter-attack. Apart from Liverpool, Tottenham are probably the best counter-attacking team in the league for me, apart from Liverpool itself, because the pace they up front and the clinical finishes they have up front. So Liverpool, in their way, they just got to be careful. If Thiago can control the game, I think we get the victory. Personally, I think we'll win 3-1, but it won't be like, we smashed you 3-1. It'll be a very close 3-1 where we might get 2 goals very quickly, sort of thing. Yeah. And we might even go a goal down. As I keep saying to my mates, we're going to have to take a bit of hurting from Spurs on Saturday night, because Spurs, this is apart from the North London derby, this is probably the biggest game left in the Premier League this season. And Spurs need the 3 points, and so do Liverpool. So, Liverpool, a lot of people say you keep Harry Kane quiet. Spurs are quiet because what he does for that team, he's the striker, he's the midfielder, he's the captain, he's the chief, he's everything to the club. But Liverpool don't go into games thinking about the opposition. They just go and play their own way. Don't matter who we're playing. We don't go, right, we've got to stop so-and-so and stop and so-and-so, and then we just play our way. So that's why I think we're going to have to go for a bit of hurt. You might even take the lead, or you might be 2-1, we get a third, like that sort of thing. So I'm going to go 3-1, but it's going to be a doggy of a game. It's going to be back and forth. It's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it.
In that, you worry about what you can do rather than what the opposition can do. Do you think Klopp will change anything when out of possession in terms of defence, based on 2 at the back versus Kane and Son in the first game, and us carving you open time again?
No, he'll play exactly the same way. It's the way we play. We play Ivory Sky Reward football, and he gets asked this every press conference, and he just comes out with the stat. Now it's 31 goals. Clean sheets this season, 135 goals. Why would I change it? It's just the way we play. Look, I love Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's my favourite. He's the best right back in the world going forward. Defensively, he's got issues. We all know he has, because he's not really a defender, but he just plays that.
He's never really asked to defend either, so he doesn't really get too much practice in that respect.
He's on the halfway line or over it. In the opposition half for a lot of the game. So that's why he's always out of position. And that's why I want Konate playing for us tomorrow, because his pace is so quick. He's like 17 stone, 6'5", but he's as quick as Mo Salah at the back. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't be.
He's been getting a lot of first team recently over matches.
Yeah. And he plays a lot of Champions League football as well. And I want him to play tomorrow night because of the threat of Son. Because no real attackers go sit on Van Dijk. He's got so much respect in the game now. I remember watching the Inter Milan game when what's the striker's name for Inter Milan?
Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez. He was running at our defence, and he looked up and saw it was Van Dijk and stopped and played the ball sideways. It's just that Van Dijk's got that respect. He's got that respect in the game now, and they will go on Konate and Trent. So that's why I want Konate playing in the back 4, just to cover Trent's position. And Henderson's so important. Liverpool fans have got to get off Henderson hate. It does my head in. He's been at the club for 11 years. He's arguably our best ever captain. For me, he's a better captain than Stevie G, and I love Stevie G. Yeah, but Stevie G was just a world-class football player. But Henderson is a tremendous leader on and off the pitch.
That's a bold statement.
Oh yeah, it's bold, but it's because how good Stevie was as a footballer. He was a generationally world-class footballer, and so when he's captain, it looks even better. Henderson's not that. Henderson's a talented player. He's not got the gifts of Gerrard, obviously, but his leadership and captain. I mean, he's been captain for 10 years. He's just a fantastic leader.
Who was the manager that bought him, Jamie? Was it Benitez?
Kenny Dalglish.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
2012 we bought him. Just coming into 2012.
You really struggled in the first few seasons. I remember watching it. I was like, fucking hell. What is this?
But
Well, they
massive
bought it.
shoes to fill, though, wasn't there, Steven
he's filling
Gerrard? So it's
Steven
always
Gerrard
going to be a
too,
bit
is
of a
it?
struggle.
It was a bit out of order for him. It's like, right, we're buying you and you'll go replace Stevie. Good luck. Yes. It's just
From
Well,
Sunderland.
that's what we
Yeah.
do with Carl Walker and Everton.
Sign you from Sunderland, and you're the next Stevie G.
I mean, Scott M agrees with that. He doesn't like Henderson, but I'd love Henderson at Tottenham. I think he's an absolute leader, and we haven't got a huge amount of leaders in that team. And what he did, he's the player, isn't he, who's forefront of the NHS fund as well, certainly during the lockdown.
He's
so
a great leader
I think he's
pitch.
nice bloke as well.
Mate, I'll take James Milner. Not even joking.
Milner's he's a ledge. He's going to get a year contract, apparently. He's going to get an extra year.
Still,
He'll
I
be
thought he was
getting
done.
his
I thought he was
freedom
done.
pass when he's still at Liverpool, mate. He'll be getting his freedom pass.
He's just about to turn 37, yeah. But
you signed him late anyway. You signed him at 32, 33. So that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do this summer. Okay, get some expensive young players around.
But you need these pros.
Of course. But get some experienced boys in there.
I think we'll get Eriksen back in the summer. He'll be free. I think he'll come back. Whether Spurs fans want him or whether it'll be a good signing, or yes or no, I've said time and time again.
Great signing.
I'm thinking more about the defensive side. I'm thinking more about the defensive structure. Get Kabul back for a third time. Get Yunus. What's Yunus up to?
Mate, why do that? You've got Ledley and Dawson in the fucking ambassador. Just tell them to get their suit off and just put their kit on, mate. That's more likely.
Ledley King, now there's a player. Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
if he didn't have injury problems, he'd be wow.
He wouldn't be at Spurs. Like Son, if he didn't have injury, he probably wouldn't be at Spurs. The career he had, because he was legendary. Absolutely legendary.
Question, Jamie, from Bob here. Did Liverpool fans ever take to Robbie Keane? Spurs fans love Robbie Keane. But
Robbie Keane.
Yeah, he was never played. He was played as the out-and-out striker by Hodgson for you, and with us it was Berbatov and Keane, Crouch and Keane.
Well, it was Benitez, wasn't he? Benitez didn't like him. Benitez bought him and then always took him off. He never played a full 90 minutes ever.
Yeah,
Benitez always took. I loved Robbie Keane, and obviously he was a big Liverpool fan when he was a kid. But I loved Robbie Keane. I don't know what happened there. He should have been at the club for many seasons for me. He's a tremendous striker, and for some reason, Rafa Benitez, that's when he was going through his something was going wrong mentally for Rafa in that season. Didn't play Robbie Keane enough. Always took him off and tried to sell Xabi Alonso for Gareth Barry. I mean, I don't know what was going on with Rafa.
Jamie, the one thing I do remember, which was the best thing about that, was Virgin Trains actually did a whole poster thing saying London to Liverpool return quicker than Robbie Keane. That was actually an advertisement for Virgin Trains.
Love it.
It was only 6 months, wasn't it? We got him back in January, didn't we?
Yeah,
we got him back in January.
I think he was just played in the wrong position. He's not an out-and-out number 9. He's the kind of number 10 and needs that. Certainly in those days when 4-4-2 was very, very prominent.
Yeah.
What a blinding goal against Arsenal, though. What a blinding goal against Arsenal. That volley.
What a goal that was.
The volley with the ball over the head. And he hits the volley. When we played
it's funny you should mention Ledley King. He's my second favourite Spurs player of all time. I've grown up with it. He's my second favourite. I've got no...
Eunice Kabul.
Embarrassment. Yeah, he's up there. Eunice is in top 5. But he's he's in front of him.
Ledley would have been he would have been a better defender than Sol Campbell if it weren't for his injuries, in my opinion. And
if Ledley King hadn't been injured,
he wouldn't have name. But for me, Ledley King, if he didn't have injury problems, he would have been England's. He would have been better than John Terry as well.
Oh,
imagine this, Spurs boys. Just imagine this for a second, right? I've thrown this out there a few weeks ago. Ledley King, centre back. Vertonghen left centre back. Romero right centre back. Just imagine in this system. Oh, that would be Kleenex time. That would be Kleenex. I'd have to get. I'd have to get cash and carry. I'd have to get cash and carry.
That would have been porn. If Bob's still in the chat, that would have been porn I would have watched.
I have to say though, if Ledley King hadn't have been injured, he wouldn't have been playing for Tottenham for that long. He'd have been going to Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Man United. He could have taken his pick of clubs.
Fantastic.
But yeah, Brian, in terms of the game on Saturday, we've got this comment from Barnabas. I want to see 3 in the midfield with Harvey White. Not the right time to play him there if it's at home.
Mate, you know what? I did a tweet on this and I said, do you know what? If we play 3 at the back, or if we're 3 in midfield, or we bring on a midfielder, I don't want to see Harry Winks anymore. I don't want to see it because the whole crowd, whether it's home or away, like, oh, fuck. Everyone at home or in the pubs, like, oh, fuck. At least Harvey White will come on and give something. And will also be what you don't know.
Set piece taker.
You got to remember, Japhet Tanganga came on against Liverpool, had a stormer. Ledley King, debut. Harry Winks, even Harry Winks against West Ham, came on, and in that first game when he started, ran the show. And do you know what?
They were all at home, though, weren't they? Whereas this is a completely different proposition.
Mate, I don't care. Would you rather, if it was 65, 75, 85 minutes, would you rather we're going 3 in midfield and we need to attack? Would you rather see Harry Winks?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Or would you rather see
Oh, definitely. I thought we were talking about starting. But
mate, even if it was starting,
But no, I mean, then you'd have to play in front of Højbjerg or Bentancur, or to switch.
Yeah, if you played 3. Yeah, mate, I just do not want to see. Harry Winks is the only footballer whose value goes down the second he walks on the pitch.
I would definitely put Harvey White on as a sub. He's a set piece taker as well. He specialises in set pieces, and he's left-footed, Harvey White. So he's a very good option. What
happened to Harry Winks? Because I remember when he first debuted under Poch, and he looked a decent player. He was very tied in the ball, good passer of the ball.
It was good.
What's happened to his career?
I think it's what we were talking on your channel about yesterday, Jamie. I think footballers now. I think Poch was an arm around your shoulder kind of guy. This has gone wrong. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Keep trying. Whereas Joe says, you do something wrong, I'll shoot you. And gone are the players like the Ibrahimoviches, the Lampards, the Terrys, the Ronaldos. Now you can't talk to players like that because they're so prima donna and looked after that they don't know how to handle it. And I think Harry Winks is he's not one who can take that kind of blatant criticism and ruthless criticism. And I think it's just shot his confidence. And then he went out of the team. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Harvey White will be the future. Hopefully, he either plays next season or he goes out on loan. In the same way as Dane Scarlett, they need game time, whether it's with us, whether it's on loan, doesn't really matter.
Talking of that, did you hear Alistair Gold talk about my boy Alfie Devine? So he did his video that he's done this week. And just, Jamie, I've been waxing lyrical about the guy we got from Wigan, Alfie Devine. He's 17 years old. This guy is going to be like a world superstar. And he spoke about a game they played 0-0, I think, with Brighton. And he said Scarlett played well, blah, 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 blah. This against the under-23s. And he goes, man of the match stood out by a country mile, Alfie Devine. And Alfie Devine, they are saying right now, they wanted to keep him a little bit longer at Spurs, but they're saying, do you know what? He's outgrowing the academy. And that they need to get him out on loan next season, whether it be League One or League Two, they think, just to get out
game time. These young players, just to
I saw the news. I saw the news.
Yeah,
it didn't do a little known player called Harry Kane any harm going.
No, it's a bit like Harvey Elliott for us. It's a bit like Harvey Elliott for us. I mean, he's a fantastic player, Harvey Elliott, and he went out. He had to go on loan last season because he's too good for everything else. So he went to Blackburn for a year and it manned him up. That's what it does. The Championship it mans you up because you're too good for under 23s football, and it manned him up. And unfortunately, he had that horrible injury. Otherwise, I think Harvey Elliott would have been a superstar this season if it weren't for his injury.
Yeah, I mean, you need that manning up. You said it there, absolutely manning up, and you don't get that in under 23s. You need the 50-50s going in, the crunching tackles going in, the fans on your back.
You need to be smashed by a full-grown man, basically. That's what.
Chris, I'm going to have to let you go because I promised I'll go on We Are Tottenham TV and they're about to start bringing people on. So, Jamie, it was a pleasure. Take care of yourself, mate.
Just before you go, Brian, a couple of things. Predictions for the game and give yourself a channel a plug.
Yeah, you can find us at Tottenham on Tour. We did a match preview that came out at 6 a.m. your time, so it's out now. I'm sure we'll be doing more stuff during the week. We've got Alan from Shelfside Spurs on Tuesday, and then obviously there'll be a lot of stuff from the North London derby, and me and Brian Ireland will be at the Scotland Yard, hopefully with Cody Mack and a hell of a lot of people, so that's going to be wild. Predictions: Heart 2-1, Head 1-1, and as always, Levy out.
Cheers, Brian. Make sure you go and check Tottenham on Tour. Brilliant channel, going from strength to strength. Make sure you go check that out. Tommy, predictions from you. How do you think the game will pan out? Do you think there'll be anything that Klopp is? I've maybe have to change this because they carved us open 2-2 earlier in the season, and we need to win this game. We can't afford to let them have 6 chances again. Or do you think, like Jamie says, it's Liverpool play the Liverpool way and that's how it's going to be? And then predictions as well.
Well, Jamie's the best person to ask. If that's the way Klopp does things, then if he doesn't really care about the opposition, then I'm sure it won't be much different against us. And as I said, they're coming in with momentum, big momentum after the Villarreal game, because in the first half it looked like they could potentially head out. Villarreal would shock them and get the job done. So they've got momentum. I think Diaz has looked better. Every week he's starting to look better, and he'll probably start now because he was outstanding in the second half. He made the difference, so that's going to be interesting. Kulu against Diaz, because we need to sign Diaz. Well, we were in for Diaz. Liverpool stolen from us, and
they're very similar, aren't they? Diaz has forced Jota out, or Firmino out, whichever. Kulu has forced Morva, Bergwijn, whoever was playing there out as well, made the position
pretty early on as well.
Both of them, yeah. So they're very, very similar, and I mean,
I like Bergwijn. I said to you,
they're not similar players. But they've done similar things. Yeah, they've done. When they've been brought in, they've achieved similar things.
They've taken to the Premier League, and those teams and the other two in those front three, like duck to water. It's like they've been playing for seasons after season, and credit to both of them. And yes, two top front threes on show here. Yeah, but sorry, Tommy.
Yeah, I think Arsenal are going to beat Leeds. So really, we need to win the game. It's as simple as that. We need to win the game for me. And I think that's how it goes. I don't want it to be a draw. I really don't want it to be a draw. No. I'd rather we just go all guns blazing. If we are level, as I said earlier. So we'll win or draw, but I'm going to predict 2-1. I'm going to predict 2-1 Spurs.
Scott M's gone the other way. I think we go down 3-0 in the first half, and then each score a goal in the second half, 4-1 Liverpool.
Not the most optimistic of Spurs fans, Scott.
No.
Love him, but definitely not the most optimistic.
I definitely think both teams will score. I can't see any team keeping a clean sheet here. But I can see us employing the same tactics as we did in the 2-2 and the Man City game, and trying to get Kane deep, Kulu, Son running off, and then getting chances that way. Just this time, take the chances. Romero's going to have a huge say in the game. Van Dijk's going to have a huge say in the game. Thiago's going to have a huge say in the game, so therefore Bentancur and Højbjerg have to really be on top of their game. And then that's before I've even mentioned Alexander-Arnold and Robinson. Someone could get sent off again. Anything could happen in this game. I definitely think we can get a draw. So I would probably say a draw because of that hoodoo. Winning is probably not going to happen, but we could easily win. But then we could easily, Liverpool on 5 at the moment, go down 5-0. It could be absolutely anything. It's all about how we start this game. We don't start games very well. If we can see the goal early doors or a lot of chances early doors, very, very long day for Tottenham. We stem that tide, create a few chances ourselves, give Liverpool to think about. We can win that game.
Yeah, I mean, what's mad is even if Spurs go 1-up tomorrow night, I'm not sitting here worried. Because at this moment in time, we just scored goals. And I think, who was it? Was it Leicester? I think Leicester are the only team that has stopped us scoring in the Premier League this season. They're the only team that has stopped us scoring in the Premier League this season. And we're just going to score goals. It's like when we were 2-0 down to Villarreal in Champions League. I was like, we've got to come back. I mean, we're going to score goals. We're going to get the goal we need to go through. And it's just going to be a great game. I'm really looking for more to talk about. I can't wait for it. It's going to be a cracking game.
Yeah, I bet you can't.
But I can't.
We can.
I just don't want Arsenal. I can't stand Arsenal. They've got to give this myth that Arsenal have improved so much has got to stop. It's just that, for me, all it is with the Arsenal this season, they've just been more consistent than everyone else. That's the difference. I don't think they've been miles better than they've been the last 2 years because they've lost more this season and conceded more goals than they did last season. But apparently Gabriel and Ben White are fantastic. Go away. It's just, Spurs have been like a bit of a sleep. Spurs have been asleep for a lot of the season and they're just waking up now. If this Spurs team was here, I don't know, a few months back, firing the way they are now, Arsenal would be nowhere near the top 4. Man United decided to be utter dog shit, which is hilarious. And Leicester have just completely and utterly collapsed. Take them for it. And Arsenal just been consistent. So you guys got the 4th, definitely.
If we'd have had Conte from the start of the season, we'd be fighting for 3rd now, I think. And it's just,
You beat the Champions League now. Yeah.
But from where he was when he took over, if Conte can get fourth, what a brilliant job he's done. And then he has to be backed. And then see what we can do next season.
Could you and Arsenal both get top 4 yet? I don't know if you guys have spoke about it yet, but Chelsea are on the slide.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a little bit too late. It's just if we had like 6 or 7 games to go, it could happen. But it's just a little bit too late.
If we'd have beaten Brentford and Brentford, we'd be level on points with them now. So very, very frustrating that we let that slip. But yeah, I mean, who knows what's happening? Chelsea could finish third and then get kicked out of football altogether.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad.
Anything could happen with that. But I think West Ham are out of it now. They put all of their eggs in the Europa basket, and unfortunately for them, that didn't pay off.
Is Chelsea your second team? Is Arsenal obviously the team you hate the most? Is it Chelsea next?
Well, I hate Chelsea more. I hate Chelsea more. I can't stand.
Yeah, that's what a lot of Spurs fans. My brother-in-law says he hates Chelsea more than Arsenal.
Yeah, Chelsea are the original kind of. Here's all the money. We'll do whatever the hell we want. But yeah. I can't stand.
I'll be honest with you. I hate West Ham more. I hate West Ham more than Arsenal and Chelsea. I hate West Ham more than Arsenal and Chelsea. But that's because I've got a lot of West Ham mates. I grew up with a lot of West Ham mates who was always giving each other jip. And for some reason, they thought they were a big team for finishing. I don't know. Was it 6th in 1996? Where I read now. And they finished 6th.
Tommy, don't forget, West Ham won the World Cup in 1966. Don't forget
that. Scott M reckons we have 0 chances of catching Chelsea. They've got Watford, Leeds, Wolves, so an easy running. Maybe not Leeds, certainly.
A little bit too late.
And Scott M, how to make friends and alienate people on streams. I hate Liverpool more than Arsenal.
It's fair enough. I can understand why, as I say, some of the Liverpool fan base. I
definitely don't. I've done quite a few streams with Liverpool fans. I don't think I had a problem with any of them. I think you had one before, Chris. It was a bit fiery, saying Kane was average or something. I think that was one of your men.
Yeah, maybe.
I can't remember. He was definitely trolling us. He was definitely trolling us. But every other Liverpool fan we've had on stream, brilliant. Absolutely.
Scott M lives in America, so we say North American Liverpool fans are the absolute worst. We'll have to take Scott's.
I was talking to Chris yesterday about Harry Kane, and I don't like the person. I'm not a big fan of the human being of Harry Kane. But I will say, as the player, as a footballer, world class. If he's playing the number 9 role, him, Benzema, and Lewandowski are the best in world football. He's a tremendous anyone who comes on any channel and says Harry Kane is average is either don't know anything about football, or they're just doing it for clickbait and just want views. Because
I think that's what it was. I think it was the latter.
The man's not average. The man is a world class footballer. As a person, I don't particularly like him. But as a footballer, if he played for my team, I fucking love Harry Kane. Great footballer, world class footballer. Because he's English, I don't think he gets the dues he deserves, because we're not allowed to call English players world class for some reason, are you? It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting, this game, and hopefully we can turn up on the big stage. You guys are obviously absolutely flying, and I don't want you to do the quadruple, like I say, because I want to do it in however many years' time it is. But I want you to beat Man City and Chelsea. I can't stand them. I can't stand Real Madrid either, but then that gives you the quadruple, which I don't want. But yeah, I mean, but what I like a lot about Liverpool is very similar to what Brian was saying as well, is Man City, Chelsea spend £1 billion or whatever it is, get all the players they want. You basically got your team, not all the team, but the key components in the team that you were missing selling a player for 140 odd million.
An okay player for ridiculous money. Yeah,
and yeah, it's not the owner going, oh, here's a bottomless pit. You want these 2 players? Here's the money. It was done via financial kind of fair play, if you like, but kind of balance sheets. Yeah. And then the other money you spent that season was just the transfer kitty that would have been there anyway. So you've done what you've done without essentially buying it. Man City have bought the Premier League and everything. It's hilarious that they still can't, with over £1 billion spent, win that Champions League. But yeah, I like Liverpool in the sense that they're an actual club. They're not just this. I mean, they are a business. That's what football's become. Yeah, they're not just a bottomless pit of money that Man City and Chelsea and then call themselves a big club.
Yeah, we do spend money. I don't like the fact that Liverpool fans pretend we don't spend money. That irritates me because we spend money. Look at the team we got. You have to spend physical money to assemble that team. But it's done in a way of, it's clever spending. It's not just like, like Man United spend £500 million in 3 years and get absolutely nowhere. It's clever spending, and that's why it should be done.
Yeah, it's exactly what I said to you yesterday, that Levy gets criticised for not spending money. He has spent money. It's just a lot of it on absolute drivel. 60 million on Ndombele, 40 million on Lo Celso. That's 100 million right there, which are probably going to leave us a couple of seasons after joining. But yeah,
goes on and on and on and on and on. That's enough. That's just two players. It just goes on and on.
And like I said to you yesterday,
£35 million this season. Never started a Premier League game before going out on loan.
Yeah. And what I said to you yesterday, Jamie, Pochettino in his time when he was at Southampton wanted Mane. We go out and get Clinton and G. It's just go get Mane.
We want Diaz, Diaz and Skriniar. 18 months ago, we want Diaz and Skriniar. We get Joe Rodon.
We were never ever going to get Diaz, though, because Diaz wanted to go to Liverpool. As soon as we'd have bid, if it had been accepted, his agent would have been straight on the phone to you.
No. Ruben Diaz.
I see. Sorry.
Back in 18 months ago with Skriniar. We was after a centre-back. We missed out on both of them and got Joe Rodon.
So that's where Levy falls down here. It's spending the money that he wants to spend. No point but getting a manager in that case.
Is it true he's building a cinema opposite the stadium?
Yeah.
I've heard everything. Is that true?
Everything. Yeah, he's doing a cinema.
Wow.
Art gallery.
He doesn't have to show
gallery.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have to show horror movies in that cinema because there's a cinema next door, isn't there, for that? But,
surely, as Tottenham fans, would you rather have the squad that can compete on every front over the stadium and everything?
100%. 100 million %. I miss White Hart Lane. I really miss White Hart Lane.
So what? The owner not get that?
He doesn't care. It's all about the money. It's all about how much money. He's a billionaire now, probably because of Tottenham and the money that he gets in. And we got Guns N' Roses, Lady Gaga with the NFL, American football.
I'm there for the Guns N' Roses, by the way.
I am as well. Yeah,
that's my favourite band.
Yeah,
Joshua Usek early on. They make money out of the stadium.
Are you going on the first, Jamie?
Yeah.
I might see you there then.
Yeah. My favourite band.
But that's going to bring. Someone told me, I can't remember if it's true or not, but the NFL game we made £1 million just on beer. So all of these things and will give us a load of money. Whether that goes into the club, like he says, that's up for
it's
debate.
like Anfield. We never left Anfield. We stayed there and just because Hicks and Gillette wanted to move from Anfield to make a new ground in Stanley Park. And, Hicks and Gillette almost put us in administration. And, FSG came in and went, well, we just build we build Anfield up. And they've done it the right way. So they've built the stadium up and improved the squad at the same time. And don't get me wrong, FSG have done wrong, like trying to copyright the name Liverpool, the Super League stuff, all this sort of stuff. But now I look at the Super League and the way what UEFA are doing with the Champions League.
It's basically the Super League.
Does anyone see any difference?
No, it's the Super League under the Champions League umbrella. That's all it is. It was always going to come in. Absolute joke. But we lost some of our essence and ethos leaving White. I did a tour on both stadiums. White Hart Lane's a football stadium. This is an entertainment complex, and we've definitely lost something which you guys haven't by keeping Anfield. But I've pretty much reached the end. A lot of things could happen in this game. It's one of those games. Some games that you play, that this team's going to win or that team's going to win. There's so many variables in this game. Will it be 11v11? Will the 6 up top score the goals? Will it be a defender? Will the defender stop the 6? Anything could happen. But it's been great talking to you, Jamie. Thanks so much for coming on. And just before you go, Jamie Phillips Football Chat. I was on there yesterday on YouTube. Tell us a bit about the channel. Brilliant channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe on that channel and give them a follow.
Yeah, so as you can see right there, Jamie Phillips Football Chat's my YouTube channel. It's a Liverpool-based YouTube channel, obviously, but I do watch-alongs of all the top 6 teams all season. So, I do quite a lot of watch-alongs. I've got 2 on Saturday, obviously the Liverpool Tottenham game, and then I've got 1 on Sunday. I do Champions League watch-alongs. I do quite a lot. I've been doing a bit of boxing as well lately, so mixing up the channel. I think I'm 150 subs away from 1K, and I've been doing this 6 months, so it's going well. So, And if I do get to 1K, I'm going to do this bad boy right here when I get to 1K. So yeah, there's if anyone wants me to see me almost die on air, that's the.
Well, we had a chap called Rez. We had a chap called Rez do it, and he literally nearly died. I thought he was going to die. So,
Yeah,
I don't understand that at all. I'm on 220. When I get to 300, I'll be delighted. That's all you're getting from me. I ain't doing anything to send me to hospital. But yeah, make sure you check out Jamie's channel. It's in the description. And his Twitter handle is as well, where you'll be able to find a description there as well. And Tommy, you'll know Tommy from our Monday show, which is on his channel, The Hotspur Hood. Tell us a bit about the channel.
Yeah, Hotspur Hood. Obviously, Chris does a show on mine. He does his thing on a Monday. We've got another host, Marlon. He does something slightly different. So make sure you check that out. That'll be instantly after the Liverpool game. He does sort of one-on-one interviews with separate Spurs fans, about 10-15 minutes each for an hour. It's a little bit different, a little bit funky. Make sure you watch that. Tonight I've got a preview. I've got a Liverpool preview with Spurs fans. Brian Daigle will be on that as well, and a few others. So that should be interesting. Before you do that, make sure you subscribe to these guys. As I said, Jamie Phillips. I just looked at your channel. We've got you really, really good views and stuff. So considering you've been going for 6 months. And you do a lot of neutral stuff as well. So make sure you subscribe to Jamie and Chris, of course. Let's Talk Tottenham. We need to get him to 250. That's the milestone. We need to get. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so, and of course hit that like. Every like matters. It really, really does. And if you're watching on the upload, comment too. Not just obviously it's live, so you can comment in the chat. But obviously on the upload you can't. So make sure you get your comments in and ask us questions, because that's what we do. That's what we're here to do. Answer the questions as streamers. So big up, man. Big up. And come on, Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. I think we can do it.
Yeah. Well, it depends what happens. Depends.
As you said, there are thousands of variables. There are thousands of variables. All we can do is get behind the team, and hopefully.
Tommy, have you changed your YouTube name?
Yeah, man. Yeah, and that's why, because I've got other people. Yeah, it was Tommy Talk Sport. I've got other people hosting now, so it wouldn't make sense, would it, if I just kept it Tommy Talk Sport? We've got Chris there, Marlon, and I'm going to get a few others soon as well hosting. It wouldn't make sense. So that's why we changed, man.
Awesome.
Excellent. So yeah, Tommy, Jamie's, and Brian's channels are all in the description, so make sure you go check them out. Please hit the like here if you haven't done so already, and if you're watching on the replay, please hit the like as well and hit a subscribe. Get me up to 250. And and then go to Jamie's channel, Tommy's channel, and Brian's channel. Do the same thing there. You know the drill by now. And we'll be back on Monday, 7:30 p.m. UK time for the Liverpool review and an Arsenal preview. 2 massive games for Tottenham here. Could really define our season or could derail it. But so we'll be on Monday there, 7:30. And let's just hope we can get this win. And at a bare minimum, do not lose. A draw isn't the worst result there. But if Arsenal win, it's not that great. But if Arsenal lose, really helps us out. Make sure we don't lose and get some momentum for that North London derby. So until Monday, we'll see you then. Come on, you Spurs. Thank you so much for watching, and to everybody who joined in the live chat. Before you go, please leave a like, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's all free and you'll be notified when we go live. Anyone who missed the live stream can still watch the replay on YouTube, and any comments, questions or suggestions on the comments there. For anyone listening to the audio-only podcast, thank you so much for listening. Anyone who wants that podcast, you get that wherever you get your podcast from. Alternatively, go to our Twitter or Instagram page on the screen. We'll be back on Monday on the Hotspur Hood YouTube channel. Give them a subscribe. We're there at 7:30 p.m. UK time. And we're on this channel, Let's Talk Tottenham, 12:30 p.m. UK time again on Fridays.